Hi there, it's Leslie, and welcome to your core training companion. So, just want to share with you, if you're like me, I'm a snow skier, but I got compromised knees. So I want to ski even with compromised knees. So this side, I have a total knee replacement. The other side, I am pretty much bone on bone. People ask me all the time, what do I do? How do I still ski? Well, I do wear a brace. However, I am a big fan of injections, whether that is hyaluronic acid and or stem cell, either of which, depending on you, for me, I think is a good solution until you go down the path of thinking of a total knee replacement. And total knee replacements, I won't lie, the recovery on a total knee replacement is very arduous and it's brutal. And you got to be willing to put the work in. But if you're not there yet, but you still have sensitive knees and you want to ski, well, I think one of the best products out there is the Bosu. Now, as you can see, I'm barefoot. And the reason I like to do barefoot training is because we're asking our feet to basically adapt to an unstable surface. Keeping in mind in ski boots, you've got a very stable environment being in a ski boot for obvious reasons. However, for training purposes, I like stimulating my feet and getting the sense of what I'm feeling underneath, especially the receptors of the foot are very, very, sensitive to movement, et cetera, et cetera. So why the ski poles? Well, I find that, especially with snow skiing, we want to strengthen our quads, hamstrings, glutes. Now, some of those classes that go squeeze your booty and you're like in a compromised position, it's not going to translate to snow skiing at all. If anything, it's going to inhibit your ability to snow ski. So having our poles out in front of us gives us a little bit of a sense of stability. And just even by being on the Bosu and allowing your body to kind of adapt to being on an unstable surface is kind of cool. As you start to go into a squat, and if you want to use those ski poles and use them to press down on, really works very nicely. But what I like to do is I like to think, where am I looking for one thing? I want to look at least 6 feet or more in front of me. People have a tendency to look down at their skis. I know I'm guilty of that. I do that. But looking down the hill and then starting to look at, pole planning, pole planning. And then, if you wanted to, you could actually start to move into a little bit of a jump squat here as well. But for me, jump squats, my knees don't love. Can't, it's not one of my things I like to do anymore. But at the end of the day, when we are here, and when you're initiating that turn, that you're starting into that pole plant, you're here and you're here, right? So again, this is still working into my quads. This is still working into my hamstrings as well. Obviously not the same as, lateral movement as you get in skiing. The Nordic track lateral movers are great as well. Another thing I highly recommend that I think is a good modality of cardio is obviously indoor cycling and or being outside on a road bike or mountain bike, so that you're getting good cardiorespiratory training, as well as strengthening the quads and the hamstrings as a low impact activity that is helpful on your knees. So once again, Bosu, great tool. So many things we can do with it. I love it. I've used one for a long time. Even learning how to hold a pole out in front of you. And once again, doing some of this movement down and up is a great stabilization of our legs. So I think the more you get ready to do a sport and you think about how can I train for that sport that simulates that sport, the better your body is going to adapt. But once again, if you're, squeezing your glutes and you're doing all this crazy stuff over using your hip flexors, it's going to compromise the way that you ski. You figure, Bodie Miller, trained on the Bosu and a lot of top ski racers train on the Bosus, and it really, really helps you get ready for that ski season, especially if you've got compromised knees. This is Leslie and your core training companion.